Stroud go crazy.
Intercepted. Pick six, Georgia.
A big win to start the season.
Stroud delivers. Picked off. The Oregon Ducks come into Columbus and shock the college football world.
And the Bearcats are up in South Bend. It's the highest-ranked opponent Cincinnati's ever beaten on the road.
Game on the line. Fourth down.
Incomplete, and Stanford wins. Touchdown!
Oklahoma is going to win it from 21 down.
Penn State going for it. Intercepted again. The Iowa Hawkeyes will remain undefeated.
Right side of the end zone, touchdown! Number one goes down. The celebration is on at Kyle Field.
And the ball is on the money. It's caught for a touchdown.
It's the year of the upset.
In 2021, 47 teams that have been ranked have gone down. 3 this week, 2 today. Oklahoma State and Penn State, both in the top 10. 3 other top 10 teams went down to the wire, including the game you just watched. Oregon prevailing at UCLA. Will it happen again tonight in Bloomington? Ohio State has won 26 in a row against the Hoosiers. Indiana won the toss and deferred. The Hoosiers will put their defense on the field first. Ibuka is deep. Smolar will kick it away for the Hoosiers. And we are underway on Saturday Night Football. It'll be a touchback and come out to the 25. We'll get a look here at the freshman quarterback, C.J. Stroud.
He's been excellent, especially the last couple of weeks. Here's what he brings to the table: accuracy. Ball comes out of his hand and it goes exactly where he anticipates. And how about the arm strength? Can make just about any throw on the field. Fantastic pitch there. And anticipation. He anticipates his routes coming open as well as anybody I've watched on film this season. And the scary part for defensive coordinators, he just keeps getting better and better the more he's played. Only 5 games played so far in his young career.
And look at the 2 games most recently played against Rutgers and Maryland. Under center here on first down. He's got a terrific freshman running back in Travion Henderson, but they do a good job against him at the point of attack. Cam Jones and Ryder Anderson on the tackle after a gain of 2.
It's where it starts with this Indiana defense. Going to have to slow down and minimize this rushing attack of Ohio State. They are massive up front. Big physical offensive line and talented running back in Travion Henderson.
Stroud off play action, dumping it off. And close to a first down is the tight end, Jeremy Ruckert. And it is enough to move the chains at the 35.
Dusty, I don't know if you saw right there, Indiana not lining up on time. We talked with Coach Allen and Charlton Warren defensively for Indiana. They want to change up the looks. But if you're not set and you're not ready to play, you're going to be caught out of position.
That's right, Tom. You've got to get your cleats in the ground and have yourself ready to go before you can even worry about disguising or trying to confuse C.J. Stroud.
Mayan Williams in the game at running back. Stroud keeping it and kept his eyes downfield, completing the pass to Ruckert again. Another first down. This one goes for 15 yards out to midfield.
Really good patience there by C.J. Stroud. I mean, he really he moves around, but he's not looking to run. He's not an overly athletic quarterback. Moves around well in the pocket. You see him twice now, getting him outside, but good patience. Nothing down the field opens up, so he hits his tight end, Jeremy Ruckert.
Rolling to his left here. Stroud to the sideline, and it's pulled in by Garrett Wilson, who hugged the sideline, did not step out, and picks up about 4 yards. That's a 32nd catch on the season for Wilson.
Those strong hands by Garrett Wilson. Working on the sidelines, that pass thrown behind him. Strong hands bringing that in, a little toe tap on the sidelines. Garrett Wilson, twitchy, explosive, very good with the ball in his hands.
Going to give it to Mayan Williams. Master Teague is not available today, so Williams gets close to a first down before he's tackled by Fitzgerald. You have Travion Henderson, the true freshman. Mayan Williams, a redshirt freshman who missed some time with a concussion, but he's averaging 8 yards a carry. Henderson's averaging 9. That's #1 in the country. They got 3rd and short here on the Indiana 41. Stroud with a quarterback sneak. Good push, and he gets the first down easily. Got a terrific offensive line. And they moved the D-line of Indiana that time easily.
And Indiana's not ready. Look, you got linebackers Cam Jones, Micah McFadden looking over the sidelines talking. Good job by C.J. Stroud recognizing that, getting up on the football, getting an easy first down on the quarterback's knee.
Good opening drive for the Buckeyes. 7th play coming up. And Stroud to the air. With time, taking a shot downfield. And knocked away at the last second, incomplete. Devon Matthews on Garrett Wilson broke up the pass inside the 10.
It's an outstanding job by Devon Matthews. As you see Garrett Wilson with a nice route, the subtle head fake there. And Devon Matthews knows he's beat, I got to play the football. And as you see Garrett Wilson go up to high point, a nice job knocking that ball free by the Indiana safety.
Indiana's got some injuries on the back end. Tywan Mullen, All-American, will not start, but he will play. And a ton of running room again off the left side for Mayan Williams. Gain of 6 before he's brought down by Raheem Lane. But that play by Matthews, it's something Indiana, those are the plays they have to make to win a game today against Ohio State with all the weapons the Buckeyes have. It'll be 3rd and 4. Ohio State is number 2 in the country in 3rd down conversions.
Charlton Warren dial up some pressure. Watch 47, Micah McFadden, excellent blitzer in these situations.
That's McFadden, and they're going to hand it off here, and a ton of room for Mayan Williams getting the first down all the way down to the 22-yard line. McFadden downfield made the stop, but that's a 10-yard gain.
Well, look at this blocking off the right side. DeJuan Jones going to do an excellent job, and then you'll see 77, Paris Johnson seal it off. Big, massive hole off the right side for Mayan Williams to hit downhill and move the chains.
Talked about those gaudy numbers in terms of yards per carry for both their tailbacks, and they're running it with a lot of success against the Indiana defense so far. Williams able to spin away from a defender, finally knocked down by Raheem Lane, but again, that's 6-7 yards on the ground on first down.
It's good to see Mayan Williams back out there. You know, had a concussion earlier in the season, finally after the bye week back in the fold. He is thick, compact, 5'8", 225. But you see the quickness and a physical runner. And we saw the home run capability in week 1 against Minnesota when he took it 71 to the house. Now they've got both these freshman running backs who are just so tough to deal with from a defensive perspective.
2nd down and 4, and Stroud back to throw. Again, dumps it off. Smith and Jigma able to get to the edge, and then turns on the Jets to get the first down to the 11-yard line. That's catch number 24 on the season for Jackson, Smith, and Jigba.
Well, as you watch Micah McFadden, he's going to work out just zone coverage, and he has got to do a better job keeping good leverage. Keep that outside shoulder free. You can't allow Smith and Jigba to get to the sidelines.
They go back to Williams on the ground. He's got a crease, and he's into the end zone for the Buckeye touchdown. What an opening drive by Ohio State.
Statement opening drive. Let's work on the left side here. These two big boys going to work here, and they really open up a nice hole off the left side. Combo up to the backer. Excellent job there by Nicholas Petit-Frere, as well as 75 Thayer Munford. Combo block getting to the 2nd level. Big hole.
No rust coming off the bye for Ohio State with that 12-play, 75-yard drive. It's an 11-yard touchdown run for Mayan Williams as the Buckeyes strike first in Bloomington. Now for tonight's Aflac trivia question. So the series between Indiana and Ohio State began in 1901. When was the last time Indiana beat Ohio State? I'll give you a hint. It's been a while.
The last time Indiana beat Ohio State? I think I know that answer. I think we discussed it. You might have given it already.
I did.
You already given answers away?
Yeah.
That's a pretty easy test to pass.
you were alive, there's another hint. How old you were, I'm not sure. It's going to be a fair catch. It'll come out to the 25. So Jack Tuttle, junior quarterback from California, part of the Elite 11 back in 2017, along with Justin Fields, Matt Corral, and Trevor Lawrence. He started out his college career at Utah, transferred after the 2018 season. Last year started the final 2 games and won in Madison against Wisconsin, but a struggle in his first start this season against Michigan State last week, threw a pick-6 in that game. And they're going to need some offense, it looks like, tonight, the way Ohio State is humming on that side of the ball. Find a way to keep up with the 5th-ranked Buckeyes, and that potent attack. Tuttle will throw it on first down. Everybody covered. Tuttle wrapped up and sacked by Haskell Garrett. He's got 4.5 sacks now through 5-6 games on the season.
Well, as you referenced it, nobody open down the field. Just going to be a zone coverage here from the Buckeyes. Nowhere for Jack Tuttle to go. And then good pressure from the inside, condensing the pocket by Haskell Garrett and company. The opening play for this Buckeye defense.
So a 2-yard setback. They go empty here on 2nd and 12. Tuttle trying to get away from pressure again, takes off, dragged down out of bounds past the 25. He was chased down by Javonte Jean-Baptiste, but that's a good pickup there. Put him in 3rd and manageable.
Pretty smart there, Dusty, especially knowing where you are on the field. Don't make a bad play worse. If you're Jack Tuttle, a week ago he did compound some issues with turnovers following them, so got to be smart in this area of the field and understand punt is okay.
Looked like they may have moved the ball back about a yard, so still 3rd and long, 3rd and 7. 3 outs aren't going to cut it tonight, but this might be a big ask on 3rd and 7. We'll see what Ohio State does in terms of pressure. They brought a delayed blitz on that last play. Tuttle throws, and it's into traffic, but it's caught by Hendershot for a 1st down. So that's got to be a confidence builder for Jack Tuttle with that toss.
No question, one of his absolute favorite targets there in Peyton Hendershot. Well-thrown football versus man-to-man coverage. Protection held up. Maybe a confidence builder there early for Jack Tuttle.
25th catch for Peyton Hendershot. He's 3 catches away from the Indiana tight end record. They go empty again here on 1st down. And then Carr, the running back, motions into the backfield. Play action. Tuttle takes a shot. Diving attempt. And Hendershot caught it. Excellent grab by Hendershot with Bryson Shaw in coverage, a gain of 15.
Wow, this is an outstanding catch here by Hendershot. Just going to work the middle of the field, and strong hands as he gets a full extension and somehow brings that ball in. Outstanding job by the 5th-year senior tight end.
Here's a quick pitch to Stephen Carr. Got some blockers out there, and a good pickup on 1st down. Gain of 6. Take a look at tonight's Chick-fil-A impact players.
Yeah, Ty Freifogel offensively has to be a factor. Coming into the season, one of the top touted receivers in the country. He's had some drop issues, but needs to have an impact. And Ronnie Hickman, Tom and I watching this tape think he is the best defensive player on this Buckeyes team. He's all over the place and shows up with bad intentions.
You mentioned Freifogel had that huge game against Ohio State last year, over 200 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns. Might need that kind of magic again today. Tuttle taken off again, being chased and tracked down for a loss by Zach Harrison.
Well, Zach Harrison at 6'6", 275 pounds. Let's watch him utilize his speed. Former track guy. Nice replay. Get outside, set the edge. Look at the big man. Get out and run. Chases down the quarterback from behind. That's tough when you're a quarterback and you've got a defensive end at 275 can run like that. Well done by Zach Harrison.
Ohio State has had guys for years at that position that can get after the quarterback and have great speed on the perimeter. So a 1-yard loss. Here's 3rd down and 7, and they're going to run it here. Irvin Poindexter bounces off a defender and gets the 1st down. How about the call to run it there on 3rd and long? Might have caught the Buckeyes off guard.
Well, 2 high safety look there from Ohio State, right? So all of a sudden now you got 2 high. The other safety out of the shot there, but 2 high safeties and they say we're going to get a run. Nice block there by Matthew Bedford. The inside zone hits. Another pickup on 3rd down.
Play 8 of the drive coming up from the Ohio State 40-yard line. Good response here by the Hoosiers after the early score from Ohio State.
Pressure.
And it's a flea flicker, and Tuttle throwing downfield along the sideline. It's pulled in. Marshall stepped out though. He had it, but he could not get that foot down, so it's an incomplete pass.
A little creativity early by Nick Sheridan, and these are the plays Indiana has to make. You've got an open receiver on the sidelines. Make that pass if you're Jack Tuttle. Watching the tape from last week, they're so close to making plays, and it's missed throws, missed opportunities like that that Indiana is going to have to take advantage of here tonight.
Got some rain here in Bloomington. 2nd and 10. That's Carr again, motioning. Tuttle fakes that way, looks downfield, and he threw it behind his receiver. My goodness, who was wide open. Javon Swinton was running down the middle of the field, wide open, but the ball was thrown nowhere near him. Makes you wonder, is that a mistake by the receiver?
Well, Javon Swinton turns the opposite way from where he should be looking. As you mentioned, Dave, he's wide open up the seam, a bust in coverage. He looks the wrong direction over his shoulder. It looked to me like Jack Tuttle could have put that ball tighter to the receiver, but he's trying to throw away from the coverage. Miscommunication, another missed opportunity.
Didn't look like Swinton ever saw the ball. Here's Tuttle on 3rd down and long, and he dumps it off to Marshall, and Marshall gets a first down inside the 30-yard line. With a head of steam, they pick up 3rd and long again for the 2nd time on this possession, a gain of 13.
Just a shallow cross here on 3rd and long, and it's excellent job blocking by the receivers. You see Ty Freifogel get a piece of Marcus Williamson, help allow Marshall to get to the perimeter, and another first down. Third down converted here on this drive for Indiana.
And they bring in Donovan McCulley at quarterback. He's a freshman. We knew we would see him. He had a couple of snaps last week, ran the ball twice, didn't throw it, and we thought we'd see him in the red zone. He gives it to Carr here. And off the left side, he gets about 5 or 6. Carr, the transfer from USC, with 27 touches last week. How about the decision to go to McCulley here in the red zone when Tuttle was actually playing pretty well?
Well, he can help the running attack, right? Big, athletic quarterback, very green, limited playing experience. Only played 3 snaps or so a week ago. They want to get him involved and see what he can do. Won't be surprised here if we see some quarterback run.
They were going to redshirt him, but then Penix got hurt and he has to play. He keeps it here, and he's inside the 15-yard line, inside the 10, all the way down to the 6-yard line. 1st and goal, Indiana.
Well, this is what we kind of anticipated coming back. Look at Haggard. He's going to come all the way around and set this up. Little quarterback counter. Excellent kick-out block by him. And then you see the speed and athleticism by the true freshman McCulley, getting Indiana inside the 10.
One of the highest ranked quarterback recruits in Indiana history. He stays on the field. And he hands it off to Childers, who's stacked up at the line of scrimmage. No gain, 2nd and goal.
You know, Nick Sheridan even told us yesterday he should have stuck with the true freshman quarterback a little bit more. Said, you know what, we're going to put him out there some tonight. We're going to let him work through some situations and just let him rip. And so far, a couple of plays under his belt and a nice start for the true freshman as they work their way back to Jack Tuttle.
Try to tie the game up here late in the 1st quarter. Tuttle on the move, running out of space and just throws it away. Jacoby Hewitt was at the front of the end zone. The ball was thrown to the back. It's 3rd down and goal.
This has been the issue with this team so far, especially last week. Red zone woes and not being able to finish off drives. And Nick Sheridan told us that was the biggest point of emphasis this week in practice. They started doing red zone every day at the end of practice when they were tired, worn down. And he even talked about how you have to focus even more so to cap off drives here in the red zone.
Well, they have only 21 points scored in 3 Big Ten games. On 3rd and goal, Tuttle in trouble, gets the pass away, and it's caught for a touchdown by Hendershot. Tuttle took a shot and still completed it for 6. Tuttle still down after getting smacked, but showed some toughness hanging in there to deliver that to Hendershot, who had 3 catches on that drive. And boy, with Penix out because of a shoulder injury, if this is serious, now you're talking about having to play Donovan McCulley every snap, not just occasionally. That was Haskell Garrett who landed on him.
Peyton Hendershot.
So they continue to look at Jack Tuttle working on that right foot. Back in a moment.
Saturday Night Football on ABC is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? And in part by Burger King. New Ghost Pepper Chicken Nuggets, just $1.49. Don't fear the heat.
As the rain continues to fall here in Bloomington, Peyton Hendershot with a touchdown catch. Jack Tuttle, under his own power, walked to the Indiana sideline after getting drilled by a couple of Buckeyes. Haskell Garrett landed on him. Second touchdown pass of the year for Tuttle. Second touchdown catch for Hendershot. Now Charles Campbell on for the point after. And we are tied at 7 late in the first.
Well, the Buckeyes went right down the field in their opening possession, and what a response from Indiana. 4 of 4 for Jack Tuttle on 3rd down, and capping it off with a big touchdown to Peyton Hendershot. What a game starting off in Bloomington.
Indiana quarterback Jack Tuttle going into the 10 after throwing a touchdown pass to tie the game against number 5 Ohio State.
Let's take a look at how it happened. Go ahead and roll that, guys. Freeze it right there. All right, here's Hickman. Here's Simon. Zone coverage. Hickman's going to come down, and nobody accounts and stays with the corner route. And Peyton Hendershot wide open. Blown zone coverage between the two. Cody Simon, Ronnie Hickman. No one accounts for the corner of the end zone, and it's a touchdown, Hoosiers.
Indiana had 3 third down conversions of 7 yards or longer on that drive. This will be a touchback, so let's check in with Kevin Nagandi in the studio. And Bryce Young might be the front runner right now for the Heisman, but C.J. Stroud making some noise. He's the Ohio State quarterback. He'll throw it here on 1st down. Has all day, and a money throw inside the 45 to Smith and Jigba. What a toss by the freshman quarterback that time.
Wow, fantastic job. Check out this pocket right here. Plenty of time to step into the throw, and delivers a dime over Micah McFadden in front of the safety and perfectly placed to Jackson Smith and Jigba. That's the accuracy I was talking about, the anticipation from C.J. Stroud.
32-yard pass play and throwing a wet football as well. And Henderson gets the carry here, and he's knocked down by Cam Jones after a 1-yard gain. Looked like Henderson might have been banged up on that first drive. He was running sprints down the sideline while Indiana was on offense, and we saw Mayan Williams as the primary ball carrier on that opening drive, and Williams had the touchdown for Ohio State. But Henderson back out there, leads the country in yards per carry, has 11 total touchdowns on the season. Stroud on 2nd and 9, again all day to throw, and it's dropped by Garrett Wilson.
That's a ball Garrett Wilson has to catch. Really nice route. You see the off coverage. There's an in cut on the dig. Ball goes right through his hands and hits him in the face mask. Uncharacteristic for number 5. Third down. Let's see if this crowd can get into it, and can Indiana apply some pressure? With those linebackers mugged up in the B gaps.
Well, that's what they wanted to do, Dusty. They want to get in the face of C.J. Stroud and affect the quarterback on third down.
Play clock is at 3. They're either going to have to call timeout or snap it. Ryan Day trying to call timeout, but they get the play away. And Stroud throwing it downfield, and it's caught by Garrett Wilson down to the 20-yard line. Man, this freshman quarterback is some talent. Another brilliant throw for 22 yards.
No question, little back shoulder throw. And you see the good concentration. That time the strong hands from Garrett Wilson. Big third down conversion.
They go back to the run game, and Henderson, and he's got a hole inside the 10, heading for the end zone. Ohio State touchdown just like that.
Well, the left side of this offensive line, okay? I'm going to continue to talk about it because they're opening up massive holes off that left side. Excellent job by Thayer Mumford, and the acceleration through the hole by Travion Henderson. Wow, quick response from this explosive Buckeyes offense.
He had 277 yards rushing against Tulsa. It's an Ohio State freshman record. That's saying something, as the extra point is good, with obviously Archie Griffin, two-time Heisman winner, holding that record. To answer tonight's Affleck trivia question, Indiana, Ohio State started playing in 1901. When was the last time Indiana beat Ohio State?
I'm going to go with 1988, Dave.
You are correct. What else happened in 1988?
Well, quite a bit happened, as a matter of fact. I'm glad that you asked. Video there of Indiana getting the victory.
Anthony Thompson had 4 touchdowns rushing in that game. Dave Schnell was the quarterback. He threw for a couple. That was a 41-7 game, and that was actually the second straight year that Indiana beat Ohio State. They've lost 26 in a row since, though, to the Buckeyes.
88 was when the internet was introduced to us. There, Dave. Got some other information for you. Remember floppy disks? Doesn't that seem like ages ago?
You're not old enough to remember floppy disks.
Of course I am. That's what data was stored on back in '88, Tom.
What was the #1 movie in '88? I'm going to put you on the spot here. You probably remember that. Fair catch, it'll come out to the 25. While you think about that,
okay,
let's show you some of the other things you talked about. The invention of the, I don't know if it's the invention, but at least the concept of the World Wide Web was first discussed back in 1988. How about this? Russell Wilson, Steph Curry, and Kevin Durant were all born in 1988. And George Michael, I know that's at the top of the list on your playlist, iPod, their Faith
Tom was
album of the year.
The other night.
And how about Gibby hitting the iconic walk-off home run, injured yet hit it out and win the World Series for the Dodgers.
Highest grossing movie in '88? How about Rain Man? Tom Cruise, Dustin Hoffman, pretty good movie.
Meanwhile, Donovan McCulley is in at quarterback, and he stumbles here and will lose about 7 yards. He had 2 Buckeyes bearing down on him, and the freshman ends up losing 6 or 7 on the play.
A turf monster got him here, just loses footing, trying to get to the edge. Don't know if that play was going anywhere. Cody Simon was in perfect position to make a play.
And again, Jack Tuttle got hit hard on that touchdown pass. Cully is still yet to throw a pass. He'll toss it here and throw it downfield, over the shoulder attempt, but it's incomplete. Thrown out of bounds, trying to hit Swinton. Ohio State will be in action next Saturday night. Saturday Night Football presented by Capital One. Penn State coming off a loss in 9 overtimes in Happy Valley to Illinois. This game will be at the Shoe. And again, Ryan Day has not lost a Big Ten game since taking over as the Buckeyes head coach.
Outstanding effort by Brett Bielema's squad there today on the road, finding a way to get that victory. And you got to be safe here.
McCulley in trouble and just throws it away that time. So 3 and out for Indiana. Chris Young had pressure that time on McCulley.
And they wanted to use Donovan McCulley in this game, but situationally, not for him to come out and have to lead this offense to the duration. You know, he was an outstanding basketball player in high school, did not have a lot of experience as a true pocket passer. And that's the one area. He's a very raw thrower of the football, still inconsistent. And we'll see the health status of Jack Tuttle could be very important as it relates to this Indiana offense.
Yeah, they're going to need to score based on what Ohio State's doing offensively so far, as that punt checks up and goes out of bounds around midfield. So only a 32-yard punt. Aero coverage provided by Goodyear. Anything can happen as long as you have the drive. Goodyear, more driven. Driving rain right now in Bloomington, with Ohio State leading 14-7. They have moved the ball easily on Indiana on both possessions. They've got 150 yards of offense already.
Guys, real quick too, just an update on Jack Tuttle. They took him out of the tent, took him in the building for further evaluation. Still has not emerged.
Have to clearly change the game plan and the way he calls the remainder of this game if we don't see Jack Tuttle,
no doubt,
for Donovan McCulley.
Give to Henderson on first down. And he's dropped after a gain of 2 or 3. Cam Jones was in there along with Marcelino, McCrary, Ball, and Weston Kramer. It's a defense that last year made so many plays, a lot of takeaways, won some big games. Haven't been able to find that magic though this year. 4 losses, all coming against teams currently ranked in the top 11. So 1 quarter in the books here in Bloomington. Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Capital One. We'll continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
ESPN, home of the college football playoff. Run it.
Welcome back to Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Capital One. Dave Pasch, Dusty Dvorak, Tom Luginbill. Ohio State doing anything it wants offensively right now against this Indiana defense. Already 14 points, over 150 yards, and they're on the move again in Hoosier territory for the 3rd time. 2nd down and 7 for freshman quarterback C.J. Stroud. Moving out of the pocket, throwing on the run, and a catch made again. Smith and Jigba goes down to get it at the 39-yard line. It's a gain of 9. They'll move the chains.
A little bit of pressure coming off the left side, and as you see, C.J. Stroud moving, not to run, eyes down the field, locates his target. Jackson Smith and Jigba, I mean, he's the 3rd of this trio that people talk about, but he'd be a number 1 just about anywhere. Excellent route running to come open on that 2nd down.
He had 2 touchdowns in the loss against Oregon. Stroud off play action, has a ton of green in front of him, so he takes off and dives. He'll come up short of the line to gain by about a yard, but still it's a 9-yard pickup for Stroud.
Boy, and Dusty, he had him. He had Smith and Jigba. Yeah. Down the sideline, down the seam, and he glanced, and he just decided to pull it down. But I'll tell you what, the one thing I noticed about this quarterback early, he's got big hands. And the big hands with the wet ball is helping him maintain some velocity.
Got 9 on that run, his 15th carry of the season. He'll throw it here on 2nd down and 1, and another diving catch. This time Garrett Wilson inside the 20-yard line. Another trip to the red zone for the Buckeye offense. See if he secured it. Arms under the football.
Nice job on the comeback route. That pass thrown outside of 10 Ryder Anderson. A zone drop there. Well-placed football, and Garrett Wilson, very nicely done going down and getting that pass.
And the ball on the ground. It was picked up though and handed off to Henderson for about 3 or 4 yards. Was just about to say that there was no rust for Ohio State, that the bye week enhanced their offense. It didn't disrupt how well they were playing on that side of the football the last few games since the loss to Oregon. Obviously with the rain Got to really secure the football. That's the first time we've seen a mistake, but it bounced right back up to Stroud. He'll throw it here, and it's a screen pass. Henderson breaks a tackle inside the 5. Henderson to the end zone. Touchdown, Ohio State. His second touchdown today, his first receiving touchdown of the game.
Well, I love the play call. They blitz Cam Jones. They set up the screen. A missed tackle there. Watch the physical running as he powers into the end zone for his second score of the game. This Ohio State offense just so tough to deal with.
And it's 21-7, 13th touchdown of the season for the true freshman Travion Henderson. Ohio State's offense might be the best in college football, and they've been dominating early on here in Bloomington. Kick off your Sunday with the NFL Countdown crew. Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff sit down to discuss their blockbuster trade. Randy Moss ranks this week's best catches, and You Got Moss at Sunday at 10 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. So Travion Henderson with his second touchdown of the game, 10th rushing score on the season. And the rain really coming down now. And here's Jacoby Hewitt on the return for the Hoosiers. He's brought down at the 22.
Well, Travion Henderson is special, and so is this offense. We talked on the onset about the explosive plays. Already 3 plays of 20-plus yards. And we're barely over a quarter into this ball game. Travion Henderson capping off a touchdown run on his second drive. They're so difficult to deal with. What do? You want to play too high? They'll run it down your throat. You want to go single high? They'll throw it all over you with their talented wide receivers and accurate quarterback. And oh, by the way, maybe the best offensive line in college football.
And a quarterback change. Grant Gremmel has come into the game. He's the 3rd Hoosier quarterback to play in this game. A flag down, and on the dump-off pass, it's Carr. Comes up just short of the line to gain. But again, a flag down. So Michael Penix injured. Jack Tuttle gets hurt. Donovan McCulley has come in. Don't know if he's injured or if he just wasn't effective enough throwing the ball that they wanted to go to a more traditional passing quarterback and Grant Gremmel, although they do think McCulley will eventually become an excellent passing quarterback.
There are 2 fouls on the play, 1 by each team. The illegal shift, offense, 2 players moving prior to the snap of the ball. Offside, defense, number 11 in the neutral zone prior to the snap. Those penalties were offset. Replay, first down.
All right, so you look at Gremmel, who is a sophomore, redshirt sophomore, 6'3", 200 pounds. Okay, here you go, young man. Go in the game while it's pouring rain against Ohio State.
Down 14. And oh, by the way, we need you to score a lot.
Right. And they go empty here. Gremmel with time. And he does have a completion. Hendershot with his 4th catch already. Short gain.
No, Dusty, if you're Nick Sheridan, the offensive coordinator, I mean, you are really handcuffed here. How comfortable are you with the full load of the offensive playbook? What do you think the young man can handle? Now you've got a wet ball, so you've got ball security concerns. It really, really tightens the reins if you're Nick Sheridan.
And we'll see what Matt Barnes, who's calling the defense now for Ohio State, does, knowing that he's got an inexperienced quarterback out there in Gremmel. They're going to run Carr here on 2nd and 7, and just too much speed for the Buckeyes. Ball on the ground. It's recovered by Ohio State. Steele Chambers, who was moved from running back to defense in August, got back there. Matthew Bedford jumped on the free ball.
I've loved watching the tape of Steele Chambers. Look at him shed, get off the block, engage, and then make the tackle and force the fumble. As you referenced, in fall camp, he was a running back. Speed and an instinct already, and he's still learning what he's doing. He's putting some good film out. A nice play on 2nd down.
Looked like maybe the ground caused the fumble there, but again, recovered by Indiana. Maybe cost them a yard. 3rd down and 12. Ohio State rushing 4. Gremmel from the pocket in trouble, and down he goes. Gobbled up by Ty Hamilton.
Well, this is just a pass rush working together. Okay, you're going to see good pressure off of each edge, and then right here, it's going to be a bull rush on the center, Dylan Powell. Ty Hamilton just mushes the quarterback mushes the center right into the quarterback's lap. When you get that outside pressure, force that quarterback to step up. Makes it easy on the defensive tackles. Well done by the front for Ohio State.
Evans has the ball go through his hands. He scoops it up and gets taken down for a safety. It was Jared Smolar had it go through his hands, and then Marvin Harrison Jr., son of the Hall of Famer, with the tackle on Smolar, and it's 23-9 Ohio State.
Saturday Night Football, presented by Capital One on ABC, is brought to you by General Mills. This football season, it doesn't matter where you're watching or how you pregame. We are all Tailgate Nation. So let's prep your home field with the ultimate game time game plan, including tasty recipes and savings at wearetailgatenation.com.
Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, making the plays that move you forward. Goodyear, more driven. Ohio State gets a safety on a punt or snap that went through the hands of the punter Jared Smolar. He recovered it, but was tackled by Marvin Harrison Jr. in the end zone, and so Indiana will kick it to Ohio State now from the 20-yard line. Ibuka is deep. He fields it at the 20-yard line, and he's got some running room into Indiana territory. Still going. And finally tackled at the 40. Taco Bell welcomes you to the Live Más Student Section of the Year contest. Use hashtag Student Section Sauce to get the committee's attention, and go to ESPN.com/Taco Bell to see how your school can compete.
Great crowd here early on this ball game. As you've referenced a couple times, the rain really starting to come down. Some people seeking some shelter, but second time here in Bloomington this year. We're here for the Cincinnati game here tonight, and this fan base, they're definitely here to support their football team.
And the good crowd has not startled C.J. Stroud at all, although we do have some empty seats now because of the pouring rain, and maybe because of the score as well, with Ohio State looking dominant here early on, averaging close to 9 yards a play. And a timeout called here by Ryan Day. The play clock winding down.
Timeout.
This season, along with their contributions to the university's general scholarship funds for every field goal and extra point made, Allstate will also be donating to the American Red Cross to help with their disaster relief efforts. Thank you, Allstate. Dave Pasch, Dusty Dvorak, Tom Luganville. So Ryan Day, in his third year as the head coach, taking over for Urban Meyer, has won 2 Big Ten titles and been to 2 college football playoffs. Semis 2 years ago, lost to Clemson, made it to the national title game last year, losing to Alabama. Very bright offensive mind, has an excellent demeanor. And talking with him this week, we were pretty excited about what you guys had seen on film offensively, but he was very understated as Stroud goes downfield. The pass is knocked away at the last second. Olave, the intended receiver, and Jalen Williams was there defensively to keep the Buckeyes from getting another quick strike score.
We haven't heard Olave's name mentioned much. A little double move there, out and up, and he beats the coverage initially. That ball a little bit underthrown, and a nice job making up on the play. Jalen Williams in good position. Chris Olave, such a good deep vertical threat for this Ohio State offense. Really tracks that deep ball well. That's one C.J. Stroud wishes he could have back.
Henderson in the game here at running back. Stroud will give it to him on second down, and he's loose again inside the 20-yard line. A little stutter step, and down to the 15.
Well, it's just going to be a full zone blocking scheme. We're going to work all the way here, and then the cutback is going to be there. Full zone all the way across. And watch the vision, the cutback, and that burst and acceleration through the hole. Boy, Travion Henderson, man, he is something special to watch, Dave.
We saw Bijan Robinson twice for Texas and thought maybe at the time he was the best running back in the country. Henderson's right there with him. Stroud throwing on the run, incomplete, going for Olave. 2nd and 10.
You know what, Dusty? I tell you, though, it's this offensive line. I'm standing right next to the goalpost with the offense coming my direction, and they are an absolute mountain. It's like 5 offensive tackles, and just one of them happens to snap. But the holes that they're opening, that time we saw the cutback, I mean, it is amazing how they are moving the line of scrimmage, arguably against the best defense that Ohio State's faced this year.
No question, Tom. They are big, physical, and they are imposing their will here in the first half of this ball game.
See what they do here in 2nd down and 10. Stroud will throw it. Has time again because of that offensive line, but everybody covered. So Stroud taking off, throwing back across the middle for a touchdown to the tight end, Ruckert. Penalty flag is down. He may have crossed the line of scrimmage. For it to be a penalty, your whole body, everything has to be over the line for it to be a foul.
Ineligible receiver downfield. Offense number 55. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. 2nd down.
They called it on Matthew Jones for being illegally downfield as an offensive lineman.
I was going to say, I was pretty sure C.J. Stroud stayed behind the line of scrimmage whenever he made that pass. Clearly behind the line of scrimmage, but as you see Matthew Jones 5 yards or so down the field, going to negate that touchdown pass. But you can see right there. That's what I'm saying. Stroud loves to move, but he keeps his eyes down the field, waits for his wide receivers to open up, and touchdown taken off the board.
Back to the ground game. Henderson bottled up after a gain of 3. DeMarcus Elliott on the tackle. But you see Stroud there as a freshman knowing where he was on the field too, because again, part of his body was maybe across, but you have to be entirely across for it to be a foul.
Good awareness for the redshirt freshman.
I think 55 thought he was going to run.
Boy, if you're Indiana, this is a must stop at this point. You got to get off the field here and stay within striking distance, or this could get ugly in a hurry. Stroud to the end zone. Caught! Olave! Touchdown, Buckeyes! Another dime dropped in there by C.J. Stroud.
Well, we've called the name of Garrett Wilson, Jackson Smith, and Jigba, and here's Chris Olave. I love the slight stutter hesitation at the line of scrimmage. Gets that cornerback, Jalen Williams, to freeze for just a moment, and that's all Olave needs to run past him. And another perfectly placed ball from the quarterback, C.J. Stroud. This offense making it look easy.
Extra point is good. 30th career touchdown for Chris Olave. And C.J. Stroud now with 20 touchdown passes on the season. Stroud has looked very impressive here in the first half on the road. 30-7 Ohio State. Man, there have been some great receivers over the years at Ohio State. Every decade they've had a first-round pick. Chris Olave in pretty good company here, now tied with Devin Smith, number 2 in career touchdown catches.
It's a very good company. He is so smooth running routes. He's got that top end speed, just had a fantastic career. And I love the recruiting story. We were talking with Coach Wilson this week, told us that, you know, Ryan Day was actually out looking at the quarterback, Jack Tuttle. He was recruiting him as a prospect, and whenever he was there recruiting him, he saw Chris Olave, went back to Urban Meyer and said, we got to go for this guy, a scholarship. And now Chris Olave has put together just an awesome career for the Buckeyes.
And they're still best friends, Olave and Tuttle, even though they're on opposite teams tonight. We did see Tuttle come back onto the sideline. We'll see. Yep, he's going to go back in the game here after leaving when he got hit, and he's limping as he comes onto the field through a touchdown pass. But he told us yesterday he talks or texts with Olave almost every day, including this week.
Called him his brother. Said they're one of his absolute best friends.
And another ball on the ground. Tuttle picks it up, and he gets dropped by Tyleik Williams.
Well, Tom Jefferson several times here today. That ball is slick. The rain is coming down, and the woes keep coming for Indiana. But that man, 91, Tyleik Williams. Oh boy! I'm going to tell you what. There's a lot of talent in this Ohio State defensive line. He's the most talented guy when I watch tape. True freshman, unbelievably productive. Defensive coordinator Matt Barnes called him a dancing bear with his size and athleticism. His 5th sack on the season.
So they lose 7. They run Carr here on 2nd and 17, and he gets maybe 2. Tommy Eichenberg on the tackle. Indiana's had to use 3 quarterbacks, and Michael Penix isn't one of them. He's out with a shoulder injury, so Tuttle got the start. He had to leave. Donovan McCulley was coming in the game occasionally, and then they went to another quarterback, Grant Gremmel, but McCauley's back out there for his 4th snap of the game. And it's on 3rd down and 14. He will throw it here. McCulley steps up, and another Ohio State sack. Tui Moloau. 4 sacks for the Buckeyes.
Well, this is excellent job of using your hands. You're going to see him stab the offensive tackle Caleb Jones. Little stab and then the rip to get off. And another one of those talented true freshmen, Tui Moloau, Jack Sawyer. We've already seen Tyleik Williams, 2 sacks on that drive by true freshman defensive linemen. The current state is good, and the future even brighter for this defensive line of the Buckeyes.
All right, now the last time down here, Smolar had it go through his hands, so James Evans will punt this time and makes the catch, secures the ball, gets the punt away. And running room here for Wilson inside the 35 and down close to the 30-yard line. Boy, in the rain. Smart play, though, by Wilson to field that and just run straight ahead. 20 yards on the return.
A low punt. As you mentioned, saw an opening, took advantage, and picks up good yardage on the return.
Their last 2 drives, they started in plus territory offensively. And you were mentioning Chris Olave. You know, one of the things from a recruiting perspective is he didn't play his junior year, guys. It's one of the reasons why nobody really knew who he was, and why Ohio State and Ryan Day didn't know who he was until they went out to the high school.
Everybody knows who he is now. He's had a brilliant college career. First down to the Indiana 30. Henderson busts it to the outside, gets away from one man, inside the 20, inside the 15, and then hit out of bounds late, and here come the flags. Frustration setting in for the Hoosiers. Raheem Lane hit Henderson after he crossed the boundary line. 17-yard pickup before the penalty.
After the play, personal foul, late hit out of bounds. Defense number 0. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
That's the word, frustrated, that a lot of the Indiana folks were saying this week, because they just haven't been able to get over the hump this year against good teams like they did last year.
I understand the frustration. This first half, this season hasn't gone the way they wanted. This first half hasn't gone the way they wanted, but you got to be smarter than that. Clearly out of bounds. Easy call for the official. How about on that counter? Travion Henderson with the jump cut. Man.
Henderson again breaks another tackle into the end zone. Touchdown, Ohio State. They cannot tackle this guy. Third touchdown of the game. Second on the ground for Travion Henderson, who is closing in on, remember how magical that 2002 season was for Ohio State with Maurice Clarett rushing for 18 touchdowns. Henderson might blow that out of the water at this pace. So think about that. It really puts it in perspective when you consider how great Clarett was and how outstanding that Ohio State team was at 0-2. But Henderson is running all over the Hoosiers and everybody else right now. It is all Ohio State. The Buckeyes by 30. Booger, but I don't think we're going to see a top 10 upset here. It's a 30-point game, 5.5 to go in the second quarter. Ohio State hasn't punted. Here's Jacoby Hewitt on the return for Indiana, which has played 3 different quarterbacks. This drive will start around the 20. Sunday afternoon on ABC. Next stop of the F1 schedule, the U.S. Grand Prix from Austin, Texas. 6-time champ Lewis Hamilton trails Max Verstappen by only 6 points in the driver's standings with just 6 races left. Coverage starts 1:30 Eastern, 10:30 Pacific on ABC and the ESPN app.
I've seen some of your car racing skills when we make it to the airport games sometimes.
Well, there actually are a lot of people that are doing the same thing here in Bloomington right now. A lot of cars have left as you look at the last 3 drives for Indiana. And it's McCulley and a quarterback. So you wonder, did Tuttle get hurt again? They put him out there and then they took him out of the game on 3rd down and oh boy. Down goes McCulley. It's the 5th sack for Ohio State. This time it's Jerron Cage. They got 3rd string defensive lineman.
Well, here's the problem for Indiana. This offensive line has already struggled. As we'll take a look here, we're going to see Cage just get up the field, split a double team, and devour the quarterback McCulley. You know, they're now in pass rush mode. And even though that was more of a run play, they're just getting up the field, not even worrying about the run. And this is an Indiana offensive line that struggled already. It's chum in the water for this Ohio State defensive line coming after quarterbacks.
18-year-old McCulley had trouble with the snap and dragged down after a gain of about 3 by Jean Baptiste.
The depth that Ohio State has in their defensive front. I know they're young and they probably don't have an established edge guy like we've seen in years past, but over the next 2 to 3 years.
So there was a penalty flag down. We actually didn't see it, but there was a flag down for offside by Tyreek Smith.
The next 2 to 3 years, guys, they could be special in the defensive front, 2 and 3 deep.
No question. No question. This crop of true freshmen that they brought in the defensive line and some of the other young guys they have, I'm completely with you, Tom. Unbelievably talented.
I think how many top 5 picks they've had on the D-line the last few years. The Bosa brothers and obviously Chase Young. 2nd and 9 here. The quarterback McCulley on the run. The ball came out, but they're going to rule him down. So it'll be 3rd and short. Matt Barnes calling the plays. Now he's a secondary coach. Kerry Combs is the defensive coordinator, but Barnes has been calling the defense since the loss to Oregon. That's when the change was made by Ryan Day, the head coach.
And he told us yesterday that, you know, those are some really hard conversations. Everyone had to check their egos at the door. It was a tough week, but they wanted to find a way from schematically and personnel to put their players in the best position for success. I think you have to credit everybody on this staff, Kerry Combs included, accepting their roles, making the changes, and a lot of this was what Ryan Day wanted, right? Ryan Day was very instrumental in coming up with what they wanted to do, what they wanted to change, and with his offensive mind to be able to help out his defense, it has really come together, and it is a completely different looking defense than where they were early this season.
At Penn State next week on ABC, Saturday night from the shoe. And the fair catch made at the 33-yard line by Smith and Jigba. Well, we talked about what we've got for you next Saturday night. Saturday Night Football presented by Capital One. Penn State coming off a loss at home in 9 overtimes against Illinois. The reason it went 9 overtimes, it's a new rule in college football. When you get to the 3rd overtime now, it's only 2-point plays. It's basically a 2-point conversion contest. Do you like that rule?
I don't know. It was the first time I've seen it play out. I know this. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. So from that aspect, it was very compelling. But I'm still trying to wrap my head around how I feel about it, Dave.
Stroud, they're going to keep throwing it here. And it's caught by Olave for a gain of about 9. So the most in college football history, the 9 overtimes. Again, we just told you why it went that long. First road win against a top 10 team since 2007, when the Illini knocked off then #1 Ohio State. On 2nd and 2, long throw for Stroud, and it's high. Intended for Garrett Wilson. Boy, that's like the first throw seemingly all night that has not been on target by Stroud.
High and outside, Garrett Wilson unable to try to come down with that catch. Good tight coverage on the outside by Jalen Williams. And it just kind of gets away from him. As you mentioned, uncharacteristic from C.J. Stroud here tonight.
Dusty, he's got to miss at some point, right?
They've been flawless on 3rd down so far.
Oh, man.
He's got 5 incompletions, but remember, there was a drop by Garrett Wilson on a pass that was thrown on the money. A couple other ones that could have been caught or knocked away at the last second. They picked this up easily up in the air. Ruckert trying to hurdle Devon Matthews. It's a 1st down, though. Ohio State with 2 timeouts remaining. Clock is at 2:50 and counting.
Indiana there in man-to-man coverage, and you see that was just a little play action, boot action, and then they take Ruckert out the outside, and Devon Matthews unable to run with them. Easy pitch and catch on 3rd and short.
Stroud has thrown 2 touchdown passes. Ohio State with 3 rushing scores. Play action here for Stroud. Setting up and throwing to the perimeter, and a beautiful toss again. Garrett Wilson on the grab at the 35. 15 more yards for Ohio State.
Excellent pocket protection from the offensive line. See him just step in there, step into the throw. Look at the ball placement, outside shoulder away from the defender. You can't draw it up any better than that.
The long throw.
Some of that arm strength on display there for C.J. Stroud. I mean, he's very much in the Heisman Trophy conversation, and when you watch the tape, especially last couple of weeks, the more he gets comfortable, the more you recognize one of the better throwers of the football in the country.
Stroud hits Wilson, who spun down at the 29. Well, he missed 1 start, had a shoulder injury, so did not play against Akron. But in 5 games played, he's thrown for 400 yards twice, had almost 500 in a loss to Oregon. Played in 3 games last year as Justin Fields' backup, but didn't have any stats. Already named Big Ten Freshman of the Week 4 times here in 2021. And not in a rush here. Plenty of time. Minute 20 and counting. Stroud on 2nd and 4. Another money pass as Smith and Jigma tried to go up in the air, and then wow, he got smacked by Devon Matthews. Smith and Jigba tried to hurdle Jalen Williams, but then watch Matthews come in here at the end. But it's a 1st down for Ohio State. Clock stop with 1:14. See Stroud's numbers on this drive. The 1 errant pass. Mayan Williams is the running back. He's got a touchdown, and he'll get the carry here. Smothered after a gain of about 2 or 3. Ohio State over the last 4 games is averaging 55 points per game. That is since the loss to Oregon. And look at the rushing yards. Buck 34, -3 for Indiana. And again, the Buckeyes in no hurry here. Still 2 timeouts and the clock at 41 and counting. 2nd and 8 here. And Stroud to the air. To the end zone. And it's caught. Ruckert hangs on for another Buckeye touchdown.
Excellent adjustment in midair by Jeremy Ruckert. Such another weapon that's underutilized because there's just so many weapons on this offense. I think Jeremy Ruckert's really improved as a blocker, and he's shown to have excellent hands, had big catches throughout his career and big moments, and getting him matched up on a linebacker there, too easy. Another touchdown for this Buckeyes offense.
3rd touchdown pass for Stroud, 21st on the season. It's 44-7. Ohio State has scored 30 points in the 2nd quarter.
And this Indiana defensive front continues to not be able to affect Stroud from the pocket. Good adjustment in the air by Jeremy Ruckert, and you get him matched up on Aaron Casey, the linebacker, almost like stealing.
Now, when you start looking at this ball club, guys, and I know the back half of the season is the difficult stretch for Ohio State, but where's the flaw? You know, where's the area of this football team where you say, oh, this could be exposed, or, man, I'm not sure about this group? It's hard to find one.
No question, Tom. I'm completely with you, especially this defense has really started to round into shape, and this offense, man, they just keep getting better week after week. And you know, Ryan Day had to remind us just how young this offense in particular, and this football team is, and you would anticipate the more experience they get, the more times out there, the better it's going to look. And it's been the case here tonight.
This will be a touchback on the fair catch there by Hewitt, so we'll come out to the 25. Well, we talked about the game next week against Penn State, and they have to play Purdue still. Purdue was ranked, won't be next week because of the loss to Wisconsin. Then they got Michigan State and Columbus, and at Michigan. Is this finally the year that Jim Harbaugh gets the Buckeyes? Michigan playing really well, handled Northwestern easily today.
I've been impressed by Michigan a lot. I mean, they're a physical football team. They can run it. That defense has been absolutely getting after it. Slow start today against Northwestern, but then they put their foot on the gas. Should be a great matchup to close out the season. But right now, I don't think I'd be picking against these Buckeyes, Dave.
So taking a knee is Grant Gremmel, and that will end the first half. C.J. Stroud very much, as Dusty mentioned, in the Heisman conversation, only improving his chances with an unbelievable first half. And that's the 4th time already this year that they've scored 30 or more by halftime. They had 30 in that quarter. And a lot of the fans that are here are Ohio State fans, and they'll stay to the end if this keeps up. We'll get you to the studio for the Capital One halftime report after this short break. Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Capital One. This is the Big Ten on ABC. Ryan Day, the Ohio State head coach, getting his team fired up pregame, and boy, did they respond. An unbelievable first half offensively. They're on pace for 100 points and 1,000 yards. They lead 44-7. And believe it or not, this was the best defense that Ohio State faced this season, and they just obliterated that D in that first half.
They were flawless offensively. Scored every single time they touched the football. Perfect on 3rd down. C.J. Stroud was accurate with the football, distributing all over the field. And Travion Henderson was just simply special in that first half. As we said off the top, this is the most explosive offense in college football. And boy, did they live up to that billing the first 2 quarters of this game.
Indiana will start on its 25-yard line after the fair catch. Take a look at tonight's fighting spirit moment, brought to you by Modelo. He talked about Travion Henderson. He had a receiving touchdown in that first half. He had 2 rushing touchdowns. C.J. Stroud had 3 passing touchdowns. And now 21 on the season to Stroud. This one here to Chris Olave, the 30th of his career. Look at the first half drives the last 3 games.
That's remarkable. That shows you the type of groove this Buckeye offense has been in here these last 3 games.
Indiana down to its 3rd string quarterback. It'll be a jet sweep to Hewitt, but Donovan McCulley, the freshman 18-year-old, is starting the second half. Here's Tom.
Well, guys, this is a tremendous opportunity for the second half of this game for Ohio State. We talked about how young they are, to get some of these youthful guys some meaningful reps. Kyle McCord, the quarterback, Jack Miller, the quarterback, and a wealth of talent in youth at the wide receiver spot, including Marvin Harrison Jr., Jaden Ballard, Emeka Ibuka. This is a really talented group, and you're going to need them during the back half of the schedule.
McCulley throwing it downfield. Freifogel is there and makes the catch. First time that we have talked about Freifogel. They're going to flag is down. Let's see here if he stayed in bounds.
I think his feet were in.
Yeah.
2 in.
And get a penalty marker, though, back at the line of scrimmage.
Holding, defense number 8. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is a first down.
Nice job by Donovan McCulley getting outside the pocket on the move, locating Ty Freifogel. He just gets lost in coverage. A little toe tap on the sidelines. First time we've called Freifogel's name so far tonight. A nice start in the second half for this Indiana offense.
He was a third-team All-America a year ago. Freifogel had 3 touchdowns against Ohio State in Columbus. They were down 35-7, by the way, in that game. And Indiana came back and lost by 7. Can they do it again? Run play, card, nowhere to go. Drop for a loss. Another negative play. We're almost in double digits in terms of negative plays for the offense for Indiana. And look at after that first drive where they marched down the field against the Ohio State defense and scored, they got negative 17 yards.
They were flawless on third down in that opening drive, 4 of 4, 0 for 4 since. And this Buckeyes defense really settled in as we see Jack Tuttle on the sidelines. He was injured on that touchdown pass at the end of that opening drive, and he tried to gut it out and get back out there, just unable to go.
McCulley going to take off, and another Ohio State sack. This one by Zach Harrison. 7 sacks now for Ohio State.
Well, really, it's the inside pressure by Haskell Garrett. Watch him get up the field, and it's going to open it up here for Zach Harrison.
Holding.
Excellent job.
Defense, number 26.
Okay.
Penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
So Cameron Brown with a defensive holding, and that negates the sack for Ohio State.
Correction. It will be second down.
That's the second time tonight we didn't see the flag down there. It's on Cameron Brown against Freifogel.
Not a whole lot there.
So defensive holding would be automatic first down. Yeah, the official said second down, but that's an automatic first down in defensive holding. But
move the sticks.
How come Indiana isn't complaining? McCulley trying to get the edge, and he does get the first down, but that should have been a first down play, not a 2nd and 3.
I don't know, confusion there between the officials. McCulley breaking a tackle. You see him get on the perimeter.
He's an exciting guy, Dusty.
Yeah, he is.
For a young guy who's thrown to the wolves like this, bad weather against a premier team, and he's held his own, and they might have something to mold with this guy.
Good basketball player in high school. Nick Sheridan told us he had a knack for making big-time plays in big moments.
He'll keep it here, and he's got some running room. But the closing speed of the Buckeye secondary, that was Marcus Williamson, 5th-year senior, tracking down McCulley, who was going to redshirt, but then the Penix injury and Tuttle struggling against Michigan State forced Indiana to put McCulley in and play him more than just the 4 games where you can still redshirt. We're going to see him the rest of the season.
Yeah, good opening drive here for Indiana.
McCulley will throw it here, leaving the pocket on 2nd down and lobbing it into the end zone. A jump ball, and it's knocked down by Sevyn Banks. Miles Marshall was the intended target.
Good coverage down the field. Brought pressure. Blitz picked up well by Stephen Carr. One-on-one down the field. Miles Marshall got the size, jockeying for position between Banks and Marshall, and nice job getting in front of the receiver, getting the pass deflection. I'm surprised we didn't see McCulley just get enough for a first down. Looked like he was able to get to the edge. He could have picked it up on the ground.
He will run it here on 3rd down and 4, and he is hammered in the backfield. Court Williams, freshman, with the big stick. It's 4th down.
Well, it's an outstanding open field tackle. He doesn't make this tackle, McCulley's going to be able to get the first down. Picturesque. Getting his head around and getting the quarterback on the ground.
Indiana obviously going for it. 4th down and 5.
Peyton Hendershot, he's looking for my tight end.
They fake the jet sweep, and McCulley is tackled in the backfield. Zach Harrison was all over him. Indiana turns it over on downs. There's sack number 7 after they had one negated earlier.
Well, it's been all Buckeyes here tonight. Zach Harrison with the closing speed on 4th down. Another stop for the Buckeyes to start the second half. Welcome back to Bloomington. It hasn't just been the Buckeyes offense. This defense has been electric as well. Zach Harrison with the sack, 1 of 6 on the night. 11 tackles for loss in just 38 plays so far this evening. They've been ferocious getting after these Hoosiers quarterbacks. Impressive job so far by the Buckeyes defensive front.
C.J. Stroud will start the second half, but don't know how long we'll see him. He's in trouble here on 1st down, though, and sacked by Micah McFadden.
Well, this is a guy who's not going to quit the entire night. The heart and soul of this team, the heart and soul of this defense. He's really good coming off the edge. Times up his blitzes perfectly, runs right past Paris Johnson, and gets himself a nice sack. I love watching the tape of Micah McFadden, one of the better linebackers in all the Big Ten, and just really plays the game the way it's supposed to be played. You know, Charlton Warren told us he's his field general out there. Nice play there for their opening play in the second half.
Well, he got called for targeting in a game against Cincinnati that Indiana was leading, as Stroud drops back to throw here in a short pass that's caught at the 21-yard line by Mayan Williams. You wonder, certainly the game changed. They lost to Cincinnati. Maybe the season changed when that targeting call occurred, because without McFadden against Cincinnati, look at it, 264 yards allowed, and it hasn't been the same. Indiana played hard and fought against Michigan State, was in the game last week, but the magic that was 2020 when Indiana went 6-2.
Reset the play clock.
McFadden was at the heart of that.
No doubt. No question.
Williams on 3rd and 21. Tackled at the 28, so got a chunk of it back, and Ohio State will punt. And again, we're showing this because it was a game-changing targeting call against McFadden, but it was a season-changing call as well.
There's a 3rd down. They're up 14-0 at that moment. Once they lost him, we showed the graphic. Everything changed in that ball game. Means so much to this football team. He was awesome last week against Michigan State. The entire Indiana defense was, but you're exactly right, partner. We were there for it. Everything just changed. And if you win that game against Cincinnati, who knows what type of confidence that infused into this team. But last year, all the breaks went Indiana's way, and this year just hasn't been the case.
First punt of the night for Ohio State. Freifogel fields it and spun out of bounds just shy of the 30-yard line. First punt in 17 drives for Ohio State. Wow. Kevin, so great to see the National Hockey League back on the ESPN family of networks. Meanwhile, here in Bloomington, maybe C.J. Stroud's day is done. He scored touchdowns in 19 of the last 20 drives. So basically it was 19 in a row because they didn't score in the last drive. They punted for the first time tonight. So Indiana takes over down 44-7. Early 3rd quarter. McCulley will throw it. No, he won't. He gets sacked again. It's number 7, Tyreek Smith, with the takedown here.
This is one of those situations, man. It's an Indiana offensive line who struggled this year, especially with pass rush situations, and now anticipating Indiana throw the football. I mean, you elongate your stance if you're a defensive lineman. You're getting off the football, and you're getting your best pass rush move off the line of scrimmage every time. Really tough on this Indiana offense right now.
And Grant Gremmel is in the game now at quarterback. He's played about 10 snaps. He's going to hand it off to Carr here. And Carr able to break a couple tackles and gets 7 or 8 there. Actually more than that because of the sack. Excuse me, about 12. So 3rd down and short. And we've thrown out a lot of numbers tonight with Ohio State having won 21 in a row in the Big Ten and 11 straight games on the road. How about coming off a bye? Assuming they hang on, it'll be 15 consecutive wins off a bye. They haven't lost a game in 16 years. 2005, the last time Ohio State lost a football game off of a bye week.
I was still in college in 2005.
Gremmel throws right at the line to gain a huge hit on Hendershot by Ransom.
Nice job going up and grabbing that football. Strong hands to secure the catch. Really nice tackle there by Lathan Ransom. Ouch. Going low. You said it. Right on the hip. Man. You might have been calling my games back then, partner.
The 2005.
Dave, I was then.
And here we are.
You looked a lot different
in the booth. I did. You're right.
Long flowing hair.
Amongst other things.
McCulley taking a shot here, showing the arm strength. Wow. Almost hit Freifogel, who could not catch up to that ball.
And that's what they needed to do tonight, knowing that Ty Freifogel, get him to stretch the field, their best vertical weapon they have on this offense with no DJ Matthews, who's injured. Pass actually pretty good coming out of his hand, just a little bit too much on it from Donovan McCulley.
McCulley on the move again, being chased by those speedy defensive linemen, and McCulley scoots out of play after a gain of 3.
No, with this program, Dusty, and what Tom Allen's trying to build and what he is building, the thing you want to see out of your kids, when you go watch this tape tomorrow, you're going to start watching every single guy, and you're going to start seeing who closes to the ball, who finishes, who's around the ball at the end. And those are the types of guys that are going to tell you an awful lot about where you are when things don't go your way like they haven't tonight.
Got to finish, right?
Yep.
You can't just play hard and give great effort when things are going well. It's got to be when they're not going right also.
On 3rd and 7. And Swinton tackled after a gain of a couple, so it'll be another 4th down here. And Indiana just going to punt in this situation. Well, Tom Allen has gotten this program to a position where, until this year, they had some success with recruiting and getting some transfers and obviously winning. They won 6 games last year. If they would have a winning season, which is going to be difficult with a 2-5 record, but they haven't had 3 straight winning seasons since the 1940s. So the fact they've had 2 in a row is telling you where this program is. But also Kevin Wilson, who's actually on the Ohio State sidelines, so there's a lot of credit for where Indiana is. We'll talk more about that when we come back to Bloomington.
Want to tackle your fitness? Hey Siri, tell me more about Apple Fitness Plus.
Ryan Day has not lost a Big Ten game as the Ohio State head coach. It doesn't look like it's going to change tonight. He's the play caller as well, but significant input from Kevin Wilson. They work very well together. Wilson was the head coach here at Indiana from 2011 to 2016. Got a couple of daughters that graduated from Indiana. He's now in his 5th year with Ohio State. Was hired by Urban Meyer as Mayan Williams picks up close to 10 yards.
Helped lay the foundation here at Indiana. And, him and I go way back. He was at Oklahoma for 4 of my 5 years there from 2002 to 2005. And I can just tell you what an unbelievable offensive mind. Going back to his Northwestern offenses, when they started spreading it out, going up tempo before other people did. And 5th year here at Ohio State. He was with Coach Day for 2 years as co-offensive coordinators while Urban Meyer was still the head coach. And just their collaborative effort back then and still now. Coach Day sees things through a quarterback's eyes and Coach Wilson sees things through a lineman's eyes, and they are quite the pair, partner.
Stroud with a completion. You saw Mayan Williams getting looked at on the sidelines, so Evan Pryor is in the game. That was Ibuka with the catch. Here's the injury. Ooh, awkward landing as Noah Pierre dragged down Mayan Williams.
Don't like to see that. He just got back healthy, reinserted himself as a part of the offense, and See the grimace on his face.
Master Teague not available tonight. That's all we were told by Ohio State regarding Teague as they run Pryor here, another freshman. Half this team is freshmen, yet they're better than a lot of teams, maybe most teams, juniors and seniors.
Well, keep in mind the extra eligibility, right? I mean, I understand that at a place like Ohio State, you know, if you don't play them right away, that you're going to lose them in 3 years. But now you get an extra out of that. And man, it's like the younger they get, the more talented they get.
Nobody would know that better than you, Tom. I mean, when it comes to recruiting, you are the guru. And as we were talking before the game, just pick a position, and they've recruited really well at it.
Yeah, they really have, certainly have.
Stroud on second down, and first down catch by Smith and Jigba. But with all this said, I mean, we're praising the offense, and look, the defense has been good as well. They still have a loss, which means at this point you got to think they got to win out. I mean, a two-loss team is yet to make the college football playoff. They got to win the rest of their games, and they have one of the most difficult schedules remaining in college football.
Very thin margin for error down the stretch, and as you referenced, they're going to be challenged and tested week in and week out for the remainder of this season.
Stroud got hit as he throws, and it's nearly intercepted by McCrary Ball. Marvin Harrison Jr., the intended receiver.
Was Micah McFadden on a little pressure, get to C.J. Stroud, a little contact on him, and then very close for McCrary Ball getting an interception. Nice break on that football, and
he just didn't see the flat defender.
I don't think Stroud was able to get everything into that with the running back and McFadden coming into him as he tried to step into that pass.
Stroud's only thrown 3 interceptions all season. None in the last 3 games. 13 touchdowns, no picks during that time frame. Pryor got the corner, stepped out at the 43-yard line, so third down coming up.
Dusty, it was interesting when we talked, and Dave, with Ryan Day, and he referenced several times with our discussion with, well, yeah, so far, or to this point. Yeah. I think he's very concerned about the back half of this schedule, because I don't know if he really truly knows how good his team is. I mean, he knows they're a good football team, but the back half of the schedule is concerning him.
They got Penn State next week, then at Nebraska. Purdue is at home. They still have Michigan State in Michigan.
Some chess going on here. Indiana showing pressure. Stroud saw it, checked the play. They checked the defense.
And a timeout called by Ohio State with a play clock winding down. Let's go to the studio and check in with Kevin Negandhi.
Prior to the expiration of the play clock, timeout, Ohio State. That was the first of the half. 30 seconds.
Wow. Tennessee hanging tough against an Alabama team like Ohio State. Has the one loss. Saturday Night Football presented by Capital One features the Buckeyes and the Nittany Lions next week. Penn State with loss number 2 today in 9 overtimes against Illinois. That game will come your way from the shoe next Saturday night, 7:30 Eastern on both ABC and the ESPN app. Third down and 4. Buckeyes leading 44-7 late in the third. Evan Pryor is in at running back. C.J. Stroud will throw. Everybody covered. Stroud directing traffic, and Cade Stover comes free for a first down grab down to the 25, an 18-yard gain.
Well, it's all about the protection. I mean, all day for C.J. Stroud to throw the football. He tried to bring in pressure, gets picked up. Nice job by the true freshman Pryor, picking up Cam Jones on the blitz. I mean, pats the ball 2 times, and Stover is able to change his route, work to some open grass, and a nice pickup on third down. We continue to heap praise on all these skill guys.
Yes.
This offensive line is what really brings everything together.
Slipping and falling down in the backfield is Pryor, but you got DeJuan Jones at left tackle, who was primarily a basketball player. He is high school. He's from Indianapolis.
He's a massive human being, about 6'8", 375.
Then you got Thayer Munford as a captain, Luke Whipple the center, Paris Johnson, Nicholas Petit-Frere, and they've got some guys behind the starters as well. Donovan Jackson, a true freshman. He's played in all the games this season.
Matthew Jones, a very good player. He was the #1 center coming out of high school, and we've seen him in quite a bit here today.
Toby Wilson, Kevin Wilson's son, just had he's a walk-on, but just had his black stripe removed as we have a injured Indiana player. Can't see the number.
You know, one thing about is we're talking about this Ohio State offensive line. You know, last year, Petit-Frere, he started at left tackle. Or sorry, he started at right tackle. Now he's starting at left tackle. You had last season, you had Thayer Munford, who started for him at left tackle. He's moved in to guard. And moving bodies around so they can get their best 5 on the field. Nobody having an ego, nobody saying, I need to play there. The versatility some of these linemen have shown has really helped allow to put out one of the better offensive lines college football seen this season.
All right, we're told that Jaron Handy is the injured Hoosier. Let's take a look at, and there is Handy on his feet, being helped to the sideline. This week's college football rankings brought to you by Chick-fil-A. So Georgia and Michigan State idle. 2 top 10 teams lost, Penn State and Oklahoma State. And 3 more were tested, including Oklahoma, which had to come from behind to win at Kansas. Navy fought hard against Cincinnati, and then Oregon hung on to beat UCLA.
We watched that Oklahoma-Kansas game together amongst other games, but holy cow, was that a scare for Lincoln Riley's squad and Lawrence today. And you know, give Navy a lot of credit as well. Got a late onside kick, pushed Cincinnati to the brink. Kind of just, it's been that kind of season, right, Dave?
But the 2 teams in the top 10 with convincing wins, Michigan, Ohio State. That game is in Ann Arbor this year, the end of the regular season. Thought it was interesting, you know, Tom Brady obviously played in Michigan, Buccaneers play the Bears. Justin Fields is a former Buckeye starting. It's the first time Brady's played against an Ohio State quarterback since he got in the NFL. Think about that for a second. 2nd and 11, Stroud downfield, caught by Smith and Jigba fighting, and down to about the 3-yard line.
Well, Jackson Smith and Jigba, such a good route runner, and we're going to show the pocket again. You see twist game up front, picked up perfectly. Well thrown football on a nice route from Jackson Smith and Jigba. Poetry in motion at times with this passing attack with C.J. Stroud picking and choosing which receiver he wants to distribute the football to.
Well, you know, going back to the point about Justin Fields, you know, think about it, Ohio State has not had a lot of recent success from the quarterback position in the NFL. Things have not worked out for Dwayne Haskins. Didn't work out for Terrell Pryor, had to change positions. Maybe C.J. Stroud changes that because this guy's got a ton of talent.
Timeout, Ohio State. Their second of the half, 30 seconds in length.
So as you watch C.J. Stroud, and we've seen how successful he's been tonight, he hasn't faced a lot of pressure, but what do you think is the next step for him in his growth?
I mean, I think just continuing to mature and continuing to do what he does and stack up quality game after quality game. And I think really we're going to learn even more so about C.J. Stroud as he continues to work his way through the schedule. But I'm going to be honest, especially just looking at the last couple of games, it's tough to pick out a lot of flaws. I mean, he's, you know, and it's pretty nice, right? Whenever you've got a great offensive line to give you time, when you've got excellent wide receivers to distribute the football to, makes it look easy.
Looking for another touchdown pass here, and my goodness, wide open in the back of the end zone is Ruckert, his 2nd touchdown, and the 4th thrown by Stroud today, and his 22nd on the season.
We've seen how good he is from the pocket. Also seen at times move the pocket, get outside, keeps his eyes down the field, and Jeremy Ruckert on the back line with his 2nd touchdown grab of the night. He's not just 1 touchdown away from tying the all-time tight ends record at Ohio State. Jeremy Ruckert has put together one heck of a career for the Buckeyes.
He had 1 touchdown on the season coming in. He's got 2 tonight, and it's 51-7.
You run the football so well, the hard play action. Boot get outside the pocket, and nobody identifies Jeremy Ruckert on the back line. Another easy touchdown pass for C.J. Stroud. you start to kind of wonder, is that the last we'll see from the redshirt freshman quarterback here tonight in Bloomington?
It better be.
Now, you would think so, right, guys, at this point?
I think so.
I think so, too.
I think it's such a long season. And, you know, we always talk about depth. And you were talking about the receivers and you know, the plethora of guys, Dusty, that C.J. Stroud has to go to. But really, there's no drop-off regardless of who he chooses. So the more reps, the more turns you're going to get this roster top to bottom, and you start getting in week 13, 14, 15, this fourth quarter matters.
Well, that's what Ryan Day told us the best way they build depth, right? Or, you know, not just build depth, but for these young guys to get playing opportunities, they almost expect to blow teams out. And it's a great opportunity for other younger players to get key snaps and help their development and growth process.
It's be another touchback come out to the 25 here for Indiana.
You know, guys, you take a look at just some of these offensive numbers of the position ranks of the skilled players. Number 19, all top 100 players. Now you look at Chris Olave. All right, Chris Olave again didn't play his junior season. He transferred. He had to sit out. Had to have his senior year to get recruited. A bit of a late bloomer. But all of these players not only have been special players, but sometimes when you're recruiting them five-star guys and you miss on one or you miss on two, it's glaring. Ohio State hasn't missed.
They've done a tremendous job every year in recruiting as Stephen Carr takes the handoff and gets maybe one.
And you know, Tom, we didn't even show there, you know, Emeka Ibuka. And you guys had him as, I believe, the #2 wide receiver in the country.
Yeah, top 40 overall player.
Marvin Harrison, you know, son of the great Hall of Famer Marvin Harrison Sr. You guys also had him as one of the top wide receivers in the country. So those are the veteran guys, and there's even more young guys in tow ready to step in.
But the way this season has gone in college football, just when you pick, okay, oh man, what a hit by Eichenberg. You'd hear that one up here. You'd hear that one in Columbus. But just when you think you've got a team that you think is, you know, the best right now, they get knocked off. I mean, Georgia has been able to probably for the most part look like the best team all year, but the way Ohio State is playing right now, they're up there. You know, just for a while we thought Alabama, then they get beat by A&M and
got to bring your A game, man.
You do have to bring it each and every week. Georgia has been the best team start to finish so far, but I'm going to tell you this, and who knows how it all shakes out. It's a long way to go, but if we get the chance to see this Buckeyes offense against that Bulldog defense, oh man, get your popcorn ready.
This is the end.
Ohio State's been close. Been to the college football playoff the last 2 years. Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Capital One. We'll continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Start of the fourth quarter on a rainy night in Bloomington. Ohio State put up 30 points in the second quarter and leads Indiana 51-7 as we start the fourth. C.J. Stroud continues to add to a Heisman caliber season with 4 touchdown passes, 14 and 0 picks in the last 3 games. And Gremmel in trouble, gets outside the pocket, gets leveled as he throws incomplete. Big hit along the sideline by true freshman Jack Sawyer.
Well, Eichenberg just comes scot-free. Watch him time up this blitz. Nobody IDs him. Childers, running back, is late, forces the pressure, gets Gremmel to move, and nowhere to go with the football as he takes a shot before he goes out of bounds.
Indiana's had to use 3 different quarterbacks because starter Michael Penix, 2-time captain, is out with a shoulder injury. He's had season-ending injuries 3 times already, and the coaching staff does not know when or if Penix will be back. And with Jack Tuttle, we don't know exactly what's going on with him.
The game clock to 14:50. 14:50.
With Jack Tuttle getting hurt early on, did come back into the game, but then we haven't seen him in a while.
Thank you.
In Indiana, with a loss, would go to 0-4 in conference play, 2-5. This is after they were ranked 17th preseason. First preseason ranking since 1969. Good punt here. And the fair catch made at the 25-yard line by Ibuka. All Buckeyes, 51-7, early fourth.
Great guest list for the Mannings tonight.
You've reached Peyton and Eli. Leave a message.
What's up, knuckleheads? It's Chuck. I'd love to do the show again and bring Shaq with me this time. Watch Peyton and Eli. You never know who'll drop by.
The great Frank Caliendo. Just throw it out there. He can do it. Pacino, Jack Nicholson, obviously Charles Barkley. Don't forget Peyton and Eli. Monday Night Football on ESPN2. The Saints and Seahawks doing battle. Kyle McCord is in the game at quarterback and dumps it off here to Pryor. And he's loose in the secondary and into Indiana territory. There is a penalty marker down at the 35-yard line.
Very well set up screen there. Jump by McCord, allowing the defenders to come to him, wait to the last second, dump it down to Pryor. True freshman to true freshman. I think some of this is going to come back.
During the run, illegal block in the back, offense number 55. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, first down.
It's on Matthew Jones. You got Peyton Eli, ESPN2.
For defensive injury.
And on ESPN, it'll be Steve Levy, Brian Greasy, Lewis Riddick with the call from Seattle, where the Seahawks are 0-2, by the way. But again, Russell Wilson is still out. Jameis Winston is balling right now. Geno Smith has played all right. But will it be enough for the Seahawks? Trying to stay in it, keep pace with the Arizona Cardinals in the NFC West. Where coverage starts with Monday Night Countdown at 6 Eastern Time. Game time is 8 on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app.
40. Thank you.
That'll be fun. That's a great stadium, hostile environment for opposing teams to come into. 12th man is real there in Seattle. Speaking of NFL teams, your Cards partner.
So I was saying they got keep pace. You can't get back 5 games. In the division. Arizona's got Houston tomorrow. Kyle McCord, who started the one game that C.J. Stroud did not play because of a shoulder injury. That was week 4 against Akron. McCord has 2 touchdowns and an interception on the season. He'll throw it here, and that pass on target to Marvin Harrison Jr. His father, one of the all-time greats. The Colts played collegiately at Syracuse.
Run pass option. You see the offensive line's blocking run. It's a quality read there by Kyle McCord. Gets that ball out quick. And once again, true freshman to true freshman for the second time on this drive.
Dusty, I feel like we're having a varsity 5th quarter.
Well, these young players, as we've talked about all night, very talented for these Buckeyes.
Yep.
Pryor again, a huge running lane because of that offensive line. Another chunk play on the ground, gain of 15.
Yeah, just a counter. Come back with the counter, bring the tight end out front, pull the backside guard. Big hole opens up, as you said, and good burst through it from Evan Pryor.
Based on what you guys have seen so far, and again, this changes every week, is Ohio State the best team in the Big Ten right now?
Based off what I've seen, yes.
Yes.
You know, we had Iowa last week, and we said on that broadcast,
Indiana.
It felt like Ohio State was trending that way.
Will be a full timeout.
But after studying the film and seeing them live, they are the best team in the Big Ten.
Saturday Night Football on ABC is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
This will be 25 consecutive Big Ten wins for Ohio State, including those Big Ten championships. Since 2012, when Urban Meyer took over, they've been to the national title game twice, including last year. They won the championship after losing a game, by the way, week 2. Like this year, Oregon. That year was Virginia Tech. They're 8-0 against Michigan since Urban took over. And Ryan Day was an assistant on that staff, now in his 3rd year as the head coach.
That Virginia Tech win also came in Columbus, I believe. So very similar, eerily similar to what transpired earlier this year. This is a different football team than they were in week 2.
Here's McCord, and he dumps it off. And coming up short of the line to gain is Joe Royer. So again, week 2, 35-21 is a game where the defense struggled. Ohio State was number 8 that year, but they ended up winning the national title.
You remember, Dave, we had them the following week, or we had Virginia Tech that following week, and they lost at home to East Carolina.
Correct.
With Lincoln Riley as the offensive coordinator.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right.
Like that. It's about how you respond, right?
Yep.
Early season adversity, how do you respond? And clearly this team has responded extremely well on both sides of the football.
Pryor gets the first down on 2nd and 1 to the 30-yard line. Well, for Ohio State.
Officials timeout for defensive injury.
Like Lincoln Riley going to Oklahoma, not easy for your first head coaching job as a young guy, short of the age of 40. Both Lincoln Riley and Ryan Day, when they get the head coaching opportunity to take over to a place like Ohio State and at Oklahoma, and to continue to have that success. They have not missed a beat at either place.
Both eerily similar, right? Offensive minds, two of the more well-respected offensive minds, both go to the prestigious universities, 2 years as coordinators before the head coaches, legendary head coaches, move on, hand them the keys. Lincoln Riley's had a ton of success, and boy, Ryan Day has just been fantastic. Has not lost in a Big Ten game, and 29-3 overall. It's been quite the start to the tenure in Columbus, Ohio for Ryan Day.
Now think of all the coaches who are on that staff. I think I'm right with the timeline of this. Mike Vrabel was on that Ohio State staff. Ryan Day, Luke Fickell. They're all head coaches. Pryor knocked out of bounds.
It's not a bad coaching staff, huh?
And Greg Schiano then came in, and he's back at Rutgers now as head coach. But I remember when that staff was being put together, and people in Columbus were talking about, Ryan Day would be a head coach somewhere soon, and it just happened to be at Ohio State with Urban Meyer stepping away a couple years ago. Kyle McCord in a quarterback. So C.J. Stroud, had he thrown one more touchdown pass, would have been the first quarterback ever in the Big Ten to have 3 straight games of 5 touchdowns. There's Marvin Harrison Jr. inside the 15-yard line. We've seen that before. It just happened to be from his dad. That was impressive.
That was very impressive. And Ryan Day even said he's practicing. Well, watch this shake. A little shimmy. Whoop. Man.
He's a lot bigger than his dad, too.
Jalen Williams left hugging air after a little shoulder shimmy shake. Marvin Harrison Jr. He is, Tom, 6'3", 205.
I feel like his dad was about 6'1" again. Was at Syracuse. When he got to Syracuse, he was about 165 pounds. Marvin Sr. was, and then put on some weight, but was never the biggest guy in the NFL. As that pass is knocked away, Ibuka looked like he tried to catch that with one hand. Josh Sanguinetti was there defensively. Marvin Harrison Sr. went into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2016 after a phenomenal career with the Colts.
No question. He was just outstanding. Such a good, precise route runner. Fantastic hands, and one of the key pieces to those great Colts offenses that felt like went on forever. Him and Peyton.
Marvin Harrison from Philadelphia, as Micah McFadden still playing hard, takes down Pryor for negative play.
Well, I mentioned it earlier, but I got so much respect for Micah McFadden. The way he plays the game of football is the way it's meant to be played. Gives you everything he's got on the field. You see him right there, not over pursue, zone the other way with a cutback there from Pryor, and McFadden right there in position to play. And by the way, you see that cast on his hand? Okay, he had surgery 8 days before last week's Michigan State game, and he went out there. If you had a chance to see that Michigan State game, he was all over the field making plays. Not many people have that kind of toughness to continue to play even while they're trying to fight through, trying to get healthy after a surgery.
Well, this program has had tremendous leadership from the players, from the coaching staff. That's going to be tested. This is more adversity than they expected, obviously, going into the year, especially after the 6-win season last year. And 2-5, and who knows with the quarterback situation. They got to go to Maryland. They got Rutgers. Yeah, you could look at that and say those are games they can win, but who's going to be their quarterback? 26-yard field goal try. And it's good from Noah Ruggles, who's 7 for 7 now in the season. And it's 54-7 Ohio State.
Penn State and Ohio State. This is the game a lot of us have been waiting for. The one team to hang with Ohio State in the Big Ten.
It's blocked. Grant Haley will score. Ohio State comes from behind to win by 1.
This environment, it's as tough as there is in the country.
From the shoe next Saturday night, Ohio State will bring a 6-1 record, 4-0 in the Big Ten. See if the Buckeyes move up in the rankings. Penn State will drop after losing in 9 overtimes to Illinois. We'll see where the Nittany Lions end up. It's their second loss of the season. The other one coming at Iowa. This will be a fair catch. Indiana will start on the 25 as we check in with Tom.
Yeah, guys, just standing here, you know, as close as I can to the coach's box on the sideline and watching Ryan Day and this staff coach. The intensity in which they are addressing their players, the importance of every down, every series, doesn't matter that it's 54-7. You would think that we were in the first quarter against Michigan, and it just goes to show the standard, right? What you are expected to hit, regardless of who's in the game, how you're supposed to perform, what time of the game it is. It's been unbelievable to watch this team and the growth, especially with how young they are.
Well, and you have the schedule coming up that's vicious. Purdue's going to drop out of the rankings, but they're on the schedule. They beat Iowa on the road. Lost today to Wisconsin at home. Stephen Carr in trouble in the backfield. Another negative play. And Carr's helmet came off as well. So here's
must leave for 1 play.
What the Buckeyes have coming up. Penn State, as we talked about. Then they got to go to Lincoln. Purdue and Michigan State at home back-to-back, and then in Ann Arbor to close out the season.
Daunting task down the stretch, but it's one that I love that report down there from Tom, because Ryan Day recognized it's not about just this game. It's about preparing this team and the depth on it for that daunting schedule down the stretch. And I'll tell you what, if they can navigate through that, they're going to find themselves right back where they've been since Ryan Day's become the head coach in the college football playoffs.
So let's go back to a conversation we had briefly a little while ago. You guys both feel that Ohio State is the best team in the Big Ten. Who is the biggest challenger to Ohio State in the Big Ten?
I'm going to go Michigan. I just think what Michigan's been able to do, been really impressed with Jim Harbaugh, made some huge changes on the defensive side, went younger with his staff. They've responded. I like the way that offensive line is played. They control the line of scrimmage, they run it effectively, and when they've needed to, their quarterbacks have stepped up and play relatively well. For me, Tom, Michigan the biggest challenger to these Buckeyes.
I would agree, and not just because of how they've performed, but I think if anybody, I'm not saying anybody does, but they're the one team in the conference that athletically would match up the best versus Ohio State. I don't know if Michigan State's depth is at the level of Ohio State's. Not saying that Michigan's is, but athletically they're the closest.
My question would be, can that Michigan offense, can they score enough points?
Right.
Can Cade McNamara, can he make enough plays, make enough throws against this Buckeyes defense to keep pace with this Buckeyes? You can play good defense against this offense, and they're going to score, what, 35? I mean, so that's really my question. And we're going to find out. We'll get a chance to find out at the end of the year.
Well, that punt went the length of the field. But Ohio State, halfway through this fourth quarter, leading 54-7. I mean, these are the kind of people you want to hang out with all night. If you're going to come to your team's game and watch them get blown out and be doing this midway through the fourth quarter, bringing that kind of energy,
I got respect for that guy. Not afraid to show his fandom. Who cares about the score? I'm going to have a good time. Kind of reminds me of a young Dave Pasch, right?
Very young. Pryor wrapped up.
You got those moves, though. I've seen them. Got similar moves to that.
Back when I had a full head of hair. That picture doesn't really do justice to the current state of things. That's the best we got, though. Ryan Day and the Buckeyes going to go to 6-1. They have a Jack Miller in the game at quarterback. He is from Scottsdale, Arizona. He's thrown 11 passes this season, 5 completions. He had a touchdown run a year ago. Miller on second down will hand it off to Pryor, and Pryor gets another first down out near the 20-yard line. So you look at the total offensive numbers. Ohio State now is over 500 yards. Indiana stuck on 97, and 75 of those 97 yards came on the first drive of the game for Indiana.
Jack Tuttle was great. They were 4 for 4 on third down. Ohio State had gone right down and scored, and Indiana came right back and answered. And unfortunately for the Indiana Hoosiers, in the rest of this game, Jack Tuttle gets hurt on that touchdown pass to Peyton Hendershot. And this offense just has not been the same, and this Buckeyes defense has really settled in and made life difficult.
Miller with a strike, and it's a first down catch. Chris Booker with the reception. So that's 6 consecutive games with 500 yards of total offense. The third time that's happened, the second straight year that the Buckeyes have pulled that off.
Speaks to what Ryan Day's done here, right? I mean, it's just been somewhat remarkable how potent these offenses have been under his tenure as either offensive coordinator or as now the head coach. And, you know, I was talking to you guys even before tonight, just watching the tape and seeing how explosive they are. As Pryor gets another nice run close to first down yardage.
Penalty marker down.
When we look back at the 19 season, that unbelievable LSU offense and last year's Alabama offense, like different styles, but from a personnel and productivity standpoint, very similar here for the Buckeyes.
Burn the run, holding, offense number 74. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
And to that point, Dusty, the reason LSU and Alabama won the championships those years was because of their offense. I mean, you think about that 9-6 national title game from many years ago. I mean, that's
archaic.
No pun intended, but night and day compared to what we're seeing from these offenses that are winning championships now. So even if Ohio State, and they're definitely better on defense than they were early in the season, but if they win the national championship this year, it's going to be because of their offense, just like LSU and Alabama the last 2 years.
Absolutely. I think Tom made a great point. You don't have to be great on defense anymore. You have to be good enough. And it feels like Ohio State is starting to become good enough defensively to complement this high-powered offense.
Miller with a completion. Ibuka is free. Is Georgia good enough on offense? You said earlier that you're going to have to outscore Ohio State if you're one of these Big Ten teams left on the schedule, and if the Buckeyes should run the table and eventually get to the college football playoff, if they were to meet a team like Georgia. We know how good defensively they are, but can they outscore?
It's a great question, and we'll find out. They've got more time to figure out exactly what that quarterback situation looks like. We'll find out more next week. They have Florida. Don't know if it's going to be JT Daniels or they'll stick with Stetson Bennett. But I do like that offensive line. I like their ability to run the football. And, you know, it appears to me at times their offense throwing the football can be pretty effective. I just know this. That defense, this offense, man, Tom, it doesn't get much better than that.
Oh, boy, that would be a lot of fun to watch, I'll tell you that. The line of scrimmage play alone, forget about it.
But, you know, you made you had the report earlier about the intensity on that sideline from the coaching staff. They also know that one loss, one stumble the rest of the way, forget about Georgia, because you're not getting in the college football playoff. Now, maybe this year, because what's really going to be interesting is if Cincinnati ends up running the table, are they automatically in? If they, as you look at if Georgia and Ohio State would play each other kind of where they are in the country from a ranking standpoint, #1 offense against #1 defense.
That's good on good. That's as good as it gets in the country this season. Best defense in all of college football, and that defense is serious. Big Jordan Davis in the middle. So many potent pass rushers, and we've been talking about this Ohio State offense all night. We know, everyone knows good and well what they have to offer. That would be an unbelievable matchup. But to your point, there's still too much to be played out.
Yeah.
I don't think we can speak in definitives anyway. Who's going to be there? Even if Cincinnati wins out, I'd like to make a case that they should get the opportunity, but there's just too much football left to unfold to figure out exactly how that's all going to shake out.
In 2 weeks, when the College Football Playoff Committee puts out their top 25, right? Be really interesting if we're still here and the teams that are in the top 6 win the next couple weeks. Where do they have Cincinnati in that first ranking?
Can't wait to find out.
Even if they're unbeaten, do they have a one-loss team like Ohio State ahead of an unbeaten Cincinnati? What about Oklahoma? Oklahoma won today, had to come from behind. They've got Texas Tech in Norman next week. If the Sooners, win that game and they're still undefeated, they've obviously got some things still to work out on the defensive side of the ball in Norman.
Well, what about Oregon? I mean, Oregon went to Columbus and beat Ohio State. I know that we've said, and I think it's real, different schematically, personnel-wise, a different Ohio State team. They still beat them. That game happened. And it was a nice win today. Game right before us here on ABC. It was a hard-fought battle, but a nice win as the Ducks were an underdog and they go into UCLA and beat a good Bruins team. So there'll be a lot of conversation over who goes where for that initial college football playoff rankings.
Mirko to punt, which is a rare sighting here tonight. It'll be downed at the 13. Okay, so here are the active streaks for Ohio State. 22 consecutive Big Ten wins. 25 in a row if you include the Big Ten championship games. 12 consecutive true road wins. That's the longest right now in the country. 10 double-digit wins versus Big Ten road opponents. That's tied for the longest streak in the conference. And they have not lost to Indiana since 1988. Right now, the longest win streak against a single opponent by any team in FBS.
Guys, let's go back to that Cincinnati discussion as far as rankings. We've all seen Cincinnati in person. We've now seen Ohio State in person. In fact, in this very stadium.
Right.
Would either of you put Cincinnati above Ohio State?
No.
Neither would I.
It would be very difficult for me too, Tom.
Yeah,
and I have
too.
the utmost respect for Luke Fickell. That team, I think that they've got some legit NFL guys, but it would be very difficult if, put to the test to put Cincinnati ahead of Ohio State based off of what I've watched on film coming into this game and what I've witnessed here tonight.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Because, again, the criteria comes down to who do you think is the best team? Not most deserving. Right. Who's the best team? And again, to your point, takes nothing away from Luke Fickell. He's done an amazing job. They have plenty of incredibly talented players on that team. They have some really good wins this season. But again, that first ranking, we've seen a lot of times there's a team outside the top 10 in that first college football playoff ranking that ends up in the playoff. So, and with all the upsets we've had, almost 50 now, teams that have been ranked that have gone down. We had 2 top 10 teams go down today. This could all change in 7 days.
And as we said earlier on the broadcast, if you don't bring your A game, you don't show up, you can and potentially will get beat on any given night. That is one thing 2021 has taught us. The reality for Cincinnati, back to your original question, they need teams to lose. They need Oklahoma to lose. They need, I think, Alabama to lose, because Alabama's putting themselves right back in that conversation, and they would need a team like Ohio State to potentially lose. So, I think that is the reality. As great as Cincinnati, what they've done over the last 2 seasons, the truth is they're going to need help, and they're going to be looking around the country and hoping that some of these other teams falter as we close out the end of the season.
Trent Howland taken down. We're inside a minute to go here in Bloomington. It was 7-7. And when Jack Tuttle tied the game with a touchdown pass, he got injured. He had to leave. Don't know that the course of the game would have changed that much, given that Indiana's defense couldn't stop Ohio State. And the Buckeyes never looked back. They had 30 points in the second quarter. 44 at halftime. This will be the final play here. Jack Sawyer with the tackle, and the Ohio State Buckeyes with another convincing victory. That's 5 straight wins. They've averaged 55 points per game during this win streak. They have a couple of Heisman Trophy candidates, and C.J. Stroud and Travion Henderson. And they've now won 22 in a row against Big Ten opponents. Longest since Ohio State won 30 in a row from 2012 to 2015. All right, let's check in with Tom as with Coach Day.
Well, Coach, it was a heck of a performance. Not ideal conditions. How would you assess the performance of your overall football team?
Yeah, we didn't expect it to rain like this, and it did. And I thought we handled that well. We figured this was the first game in the second half of the season. We kind of looked at it like we're 0-0 going into the game. and we wanted to come out and play really well in our first game in the second half of the season. I thought we did that. We got a big challenge next week.
How impressed were you by the overall depth that played in this game tonight?
Yeah, that's what's been great. Early on, it was the thing that we really didn't have guys settled into roles, but now they're getting more and more reps. They're starting to build that depth like we need. We're going to need here down the stretch.
I'll tell you, Coach, I'm watching you in the fourth quarter, and you are coaching this offense as if it's the first quarter of two teams ranked in the top 10. How important is the standard here to this program?
Well, I think it is, but it's also those young guys getting all those reps that we didn't get last year. So it's going to help us down the road, and we want to make sure that everything matters. We say that all the time. Every rep matters. Everything you do during the week matters. We want to make sure that they understand that.
Coach, thanks so much.
All right, thank you.
One of the things that Coach Day told us when we spoke to him yesterday, Dusty, he said, we take the bye week to reevaluate not just, scheme, what we're doing, but our personnel.
Right, yeah.
We did see some changes. There were some younger guys that got time. Now, Master Teague wasn't available, so that's one of the reasons that we did see some different players at running back. But it's a team right now that's playing as well as anybody in the country.
No question. And off the bye, they looked fresh. They looked focused. And, man, were they impressive. And I think the big thing to take away is obviously the offense. I think we kind of anticipated and expected the offense to look like they did. But this is a good Indiana defense. An Indiana defense that a week ago against Michigan State completely shut them down and played good enough to win, only giving up 13 points. And it was a hot knife through butter for this Buckeyes offense. But then really on the defensive side, after that initial drive going 75 yards, they really stepped up and played well, albeit Jack Tuttle had to go out. But still, you could just see the overall speed, the talent, and what they have on that side of the ball. I thought it was really impressive all the way around.
That defense, they changed how they were doing things. Matt Barnes is now calling the plays. That started after the Oregon game. But ultimately, Ohio State's success right now is because of its offense. C.J. Stroud, when you have a great running game, it certainly helps a quarterback. Mayan Williams had a touchdown. Travion Henderson had a couple of touchdown runs, and that offensive line gave C.J. Stroud all day to throw 4 touchdown passes on the day.
No question. We heap too much praise, in my opinion, sometimes on the skill. When you got an offensive line like they have at Ohio State, it's going to make a lot of people look good, and that's exactly what we saw tonight. C.J. Stroud was outstanding. We saw Travion Henderson once again continue to wow everybody as a true freshman. And this Ohio State Buckeyes offense was seemingly unstoppable for a large part of this game.
And look at that. That's the first time since 1903 that a Big Ten team has 4 consecutive games with 50 or more points. So Ohio State has Penn State in Columbus next week. They still have to play Purdue. They go to Lincoln, Michigan State in Columbus, and then at Michigan, which is number 6 right now in the country. Let's go ahead and take a look at college football rankings brought to you by Chick-fil-A. So every top 10 team today had a battle except Ohio State and Michigan. 2 top 10 teams. Penn State and Oklahoma State went down. Neither Georgia nor Michigan State played. Michigan State plays Michigan next week.
No question. We're going to start to find out a lot. There's going to be some separation in this Big Ten East over the next several weeks. Next week's going to be off the charts. See how Penn State can respond after that tough loss today at home against Illinois. And you would imagine Ohio State's going to continue to look really, really good, especially on the offensive side.
C.J. Stroud putting himself in the thick of things in the Heisman Trophy race. 21 of 28, 265 yards, 4 touchdown passes. For the 3rd straight game, no interceptions, 14 touchdowns and no picks the last 3 games. Travion Henderson, 3 touchdowns, 2 on the ground, and 1 receiving. So that'll do it from Bloomington. The Ohio State Buckeyes improved to 6-1, 4-0 in conference play. Indiana, meanwhile, still looking for its first Big Ten win, 0-4 now on the season in conference play. For Dusty Dvorak, Tom Luganbill, our entire outstanding ABC crew, I'm Dave Pasch saying so long from Bloomington, where the Buckeyes roll 54-7 over Indiana.